Katie, thanks for joining us again this week.
Thank you, Dr. Kurt. I've got a 15-minute segment with a couple of great testimonials to share today on our flagship product, which is the Sisel Age Pill. Absolutely love this product. And really, Kurt, you can build a business just around this product alone.
You sure can. Well, Katie, I'll let you talk about product, and I won't spend any time talking about product. And for those of you that just joined us, my name is Dr. Kurt Fisnick. A lot of people just call me Doc Fizz. You know, when Dr. Oz got to be a prominent name here in the United States, a buddy of mine, he said, you should be Doc Fizz. And I thought, I like it. So I became Doc Fizz then, and that was about, I'd say about 10 years ago or so. But, you know, a lot of people, when they get involved with Sisel and they find out that I'm a doctor, they think that I'm here just because I promote the products. And I love the products. Don't get me wrong. I love the products. I wouldn't be with Sisel if it wasn't for the fantastic products that we have. But I got started with Sisel for another reason. You see, 15 years ago, August 27th, 2007, I was involved in a really bad motorcycle wreck. I was riding my Harley down the street and a guy decided to run a stop sign, T-boned me, hit me at about 65 miles an hour. I woke up after being in a coma for a couple of days, and the first thing the doctor said was, we got to cut your leg off. If we don't cut your leg off at the hip, chances are you're not going to walk again. And you know, they gave me 10 minutes to think about it, and I decided to keep my leg. I spent the next 2 years doing my own rehab program. I came up with it myself because the program that they designed for me really wasn't doing anything. It really wasn't working, folks. And so I just designed one of my own, and lo and behold, yeah, I was able to get out of the wheelchair and start walking. And I still have a limp. I'll be honest with you. I still have a limp. I'll probably have a limp the rest of my life, but I don't have any pain and I'm walking on my own leg. To me, that's important. I don't take any painkillers. I don't take anything except for natural. I use CBD for the little bit of pain that I have, a little bit of discomfort. But I got involved with network marketing because when I got in my motorcycle wreck, I couldn't go back to my work in my clinic. I couldn't be on my feet all day long to treat my patients. And at that time, I was taking painkillers. And, you know, I would have headaches so bad that I wouldn't even get out of bed. I'd be in bed for days because I was just wiped out. But I had 3 teenage boys at home, and I had to figure out a way. How do I generate an income? How do I make enough money that I can support myself and my family? And the doctors, you know, and then the counselors at the hospital, they said, well, you can go on Social Security, you can go on disability insurance. And then I thought, no way, there's not enough money in that system for me to live the lifestyle that I wanted, that I'd gotten accustomed to. So I contacted a couple friends of mine that were involved in network marketing, and they said, find a company that you can wrap your arms around, something that you can say, hey, this is me. This, you can brand it. And I want to point that out. Last week, I spent quite a bit of time talking about that, building belief. And I really believe that it's a primary thing when you're doing something, is that you have to realize that people don't buy products. People don't buy a company. People buy you. And if you don't have that belief in yourself, if you don't have that belief in what you're doing, it's not going to work. If you're only 50% of the way, if you're only 70% of the way there, you have to figure out what's holding you back. What's making it so that you're not at 100%. If you're at 80 or 90%, you're almost there. There's one little thing that's holding you back. What is it? Get in touch with me. Get in touch with the person that sponsored you. And let's try and work this out. Let's try and get you to that 100%, because if you're at 100%, I'll tell you what, you're going to find that it's easier, and you're going to find that more people are going to want to join you because they can tell. People can tell when you're not quite there. You know, the difference between being there and being not quite there is just a little bit. What can we do to get that? And I'll tell you, Katie's going to share some testimonials on one of our flagship products. It's called the Age Pill. This product came out just a number of years ago, and it quickly became one of our #1 products. Why? Because it works. And the last couple of years, we've been dealing with this pandemic. A lot of companies out there in the market, not just network marketing companies, but a lot of companies, like big names like Coca-Cola and Kraft and names like that, they can't get ingredients to make their products. We couldn't get some of the ingredients to make our product. And I know with our multiple vitamin, it's called Compass 360. There was one ingredient that we couldn't get, so we couldn't put the product on the market. And there was another ingredient that was similar, but not quite as potent. And we could have put that in there. But Tom Jr., the CEO, the president of the company, he said, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to put an inferior ingredient in our product, even though our distributors wouldn't know. We're not going to do that because that's not what we stand for. And to me, that helped me. My belief was 100, it was there already, but knowing that, it just solidified that much more that I'm in the right company. Because when you have a company that they won't cheapen their products, even if it means not being able to sell the product, that's important. Think about that. That's important, isn't it? It's important to me. It's got to be important to you. And you have to have belief in what you're doing. I believe in Sisel, and I think that not only is the company going to have the best year they've ever had, last year was the best year that they've ever had in the 14 years that they've been in existence, but I think this year is going to be even better than last year. It's already growing into that, but not just for them, but for you and me and everybody that's involved. But you have to build your belief first. If you don't believe that it's going to happen, it's not going to happen. If you're only 50% of the way there, it's not going to happen. So enough about that. What I want to say is that, okay, so every week I jump on this call. Katie and I do this call every week. And part of it is I'm trying to get people to take a look. There's a lot of people, maybe you've just heard about Sisel. And I want to get you to take a look. And I'm going to tell you this. The things that you hear, they're true. We are that company. But not only are the things that you're hearing true, but the thing about it is that chances are it's better than what you've ever heard. And I want you to take a look, and a second look, and a third look. But when you're building this business, I'm not going to go through the entire compensation plan. I'm just going to say this: no matter what company you're with, if you're with XYZ company or ABC company or whatever company you're with right now, and you're taking a look at what we have over here, every company has what I'm going to call the building block in their compensation plan. They have a unit of building. I call it building a brick, like a brick in the wall. You build one brick, then you build another one, then you build another one, and you build your company based on that. And with the bricks that we have with Sisel, the way the compensation plan is designed is you go out and you find 3 people. You find 3 people who have 100% belief in what they're doing. You help those 3 people go out and find 3 people. So 3 times 3, that's 9. And now you help those 9 people go out and find 3 people each. That's another 27. So you got a total of 39 people in your organization. That's the brick. That's how we build this. That's the building block of our entire company as far as our compensation plan. You find 3 people, okay? Who couldn't find 3 people? According to the top iconic figures in network marketing industry, they tell us that everybody can find 3. So let's just go with that. We find 3 who find 3 who find 3. That's 39 people out in your organization. And then we build that with a operating costs, right? I'm going to use traditional business terminology. And you have operating costs, and you have startup costs, you have monthly overhead, And it's roughly about $350 to build that each month. So a little bit more than $10 a day, including shipping, everything like that. And you find 3 people who do the same thing. And they find 3 who find 3. And you're going to make somewhere between $800 to $2,000 a month. And it's a range because I can't make any claims. I can't make any medical claims on the product, but I also can't make any financial claims. I can't say, hey, this is how much you're going to make, Bob. This is how much you're going to make, Stuart. This is how much you're going to make, Mary. No, I can't do that. But what I can do is I can say, if you do this correctly and you go out and you find those 3 people who get the belief and they go out and find 3 people who do the exact same thing, and you build it on buying that 300 PV worth of products each month, you're going to generate an income of anywhere between $800 to $2,000 per month every single month. And I'll tell you what, based on United States statistics, that's enough money that it'll save 50% of people from going into bankruptcy. Right now, if we take a look at the world economy, we're hurting. I was just talking to a friend of mine yesterday. She said that although she has a job, they've cut her hours back from full-time to part-time. I have another friend that works at a factory. I was just talking to him on Wednesday, and he was saying that they've cut back his hours because of lack of parts. They don't have the parts that they need because of logistics reasons. And he's not working full-time either. So he doesn't have the money. My friend that I talked to yesterday doesn't have the money. Even though they're working what used to be full-time jobs, they're working harder than ever, but they're coming home with less money. On top of that, you go to the grocery store, you go to the gas station, the cost of goods has gone up. The cost of everything is skyrocketing. But yet, half the people I know aren't making as much money as they did last year or the year before. So think about that. If you're looking for a way of generating extra income, I can show you how to do it. Get back to the person that brought you here. Let's talk. Let's figure this thing out. I'm going to turn the call over to Katie. Katie Larkin is a friend of mine, a business partner from down in Melbourne, Australia. And she's built a fantastic business. And she is really a person who's way into the science. She loves the science behind the products. And she's built a huge business based on the science. Katie, come on and share a few things about the age pill.
Thank you, Kurt. So thanks everyone for joining us today. If you're watching the recording, welcome. If you're on the call live, I'm glad you could make it. We've got 2 fantastic testimonials today. And actually these testimonials were shared by Bill Whiteley, and one of them is his wife. And I came across these and I just thought they were just so fantastic. And I'm pretty sure not many people would have heard them. So we wanted to share these today and let you know how great this product is, because, you know, the old saying goes, facts tell, stories sell. And at the end of the day, people want to know, can this product benefit them? Can they relate to a story? Is there something in there that might be able to support them or help them in some way? So without further ado, I'm just going to share my screen. I wanted to put up a quick disclaimer here. So here we go here. So just a quick disclaimer, none of the information today shared, including product information about the age pill, is designed to prevent, cure, or treat any disease. We're not making medical claims, and we do need to advise to check with your doctor first if you're unwell and taking supplements. And the information in this presentation is for educational purposes only. So please do your own research and consult your health provider. So I'm just going to escape out of there and let's get into it.
The course of time, and she's been really happy, but I've got her on tonight.
In order to tell you how much Sisel means to me, I'm going to give you a little bit of background. When I was really young, I got spinal meningitis and labyrinthitis at the same time, and I almost died. And for 3 years, every day, I thought I would die. I had months of dizziness at a time, loss of memory, couldn't hardly do anything. So I thought the best thing I can do is to get on good nutrition and start exercising. Well, that's what I did. So I joined a gym. I was a vegetarian, about 110 pounds, didn't drink or smoke, and here's all these big meat eaters. And they kind of laughed at me, oh, she's never going to do anything. pretty good. I stayed with it, and I got to where I could curl with a 100-pound barbell. I could hang upside down on a bench with a 65-pound barbell in each hand and a 1,000-pound leg press, and turned out to be one of the strongest people in the gym and still a vegetarian. So I stuck with that. But even though all these years, the dizzy spills never went away, still had memory loss now and then, and it just kind of messed up everything. Bill and I are both pilots. We bought 2 planes, and I had to stop flying because anything over 2,500 feet, I'd lose my balance. So it's been quite a thing. So this is where Sisel comes in. All these years, I've tried just about everything that's come on the market. Anything that I even heard of that might help this problem, I tried. So when Bill and I joined on July 21st, I thought, oh, well, here comes another one. I'll try this one, too. So I took, I think we got the product on the 28th, so I took a couple pills, and I'm so sensitive that within 2 minutes I thought, oh, my gosh, I love this. So we kind of talked about it, and I said, well, order a bunch of that. I really like that. I think it's going to help me. So over the weeks and months, I went from 2 pills to 3, which I'm taking now, and I kind of stayed in the background and kept track of any changes. Well, I had to stop in the gym for quite a while, so the last couple of years I've been going back. And I did pretty good, but since I've been on the Sisel products, my muscles in my biceps, I used to measure 13.5 inches, and I'm back up to 12.5 inches. Some of the machines that I used to use, actually the rips too, with the H pill, but I mean, I'm getting so close to what I used to do, and this is 30 years ago. So I am so tickled. I notice a lot of difference in my skin, my face, my muscles, and my body actually have, it just looks like I've lost 10 years off my life. I look a lot younger, I feel younger, and I've got so much energy that I can't believe it. I get in there and I go from machine to machine, never get winded, never get sore. Anything I want to do, I go out there and weed whack or tear up or do whatever I have to do. And these products, I just can't even believe it. It's a miracle. And the dizziness has stopped, and the brain fog has stopped. I'm doing a 3-volume children's series right now, and I'm editing in between everything else. So I can't even tell you how good these are. And I will never stop taking this because I've just tried everything with every company, and there is nothing like Sisel. These products are to die for. So anybody that's even thinking about quitting, don't do it, because this stuff will extend your life, and you'll feel better than you've ever felt. And that's about as good as I can do for today.
Jerry Shaw is right there. It would be a real thrill to hear from him.
Yeah, and you. And Bill was talking about everything Sisel had, and they have us, and, well, they've got Bill Whiteley, they've got Daphne Begg, and yes, indeed, it doesn't get any better than this, folks. It's a great place to be, and my experience started with the Age pill back at the end of July. Because Bill Whiteley and I have been friends for years, we go back about 20 years, and we've developed that trust over the years. So if Bill Whiteley's interested in it, I am. And I started looking at the science, and I got very interested. I started seeing what nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide could do on a cellular level. So I had to try the product. And I had a number of things that I had struggled with over recent years. And one of them, without mentioning conditions, one of them contributed to massive spasms at night and kept me from sleeping. So I was really exhausted, and I didn't even know how exhausted, but I knew that I was pretty run down. And when I started the Age pill, I slept for the first time in years deeply. And I ended up sleeping, probably I woke up, because I was waking up before like 3:30, 4 o'clock, as well as numerous times during the night. And I would just get up. But this time I slept all the way through till the sun was coming in. It was probably about 6 a.m. And I thought, wow, that was unusual. I slept all night. And then I closed my eyes and ended up just dropping into sleep again. And when I woke up, it was 10 a.m. And I'd realized I'd slept about 12 hours, and that's just, that hasn't happened in probably 30 years or more. And I thought, wow, it must be the Age pill. But I realized over the course of the next couple of weeks, I not only slept more deeply at night, I was taking naps during the daytime. And that may sound kind of counter to some people, because one of the things the age pill is known to do is allow our energy to be better, and kind of it's very restorative to our bodies. But truth is, it allows the cells to function as they were intended. There's a number of things going on. It's getting rid of the lipofuscin, which is the buildup inside the cell that happens through normal metabolic processes. And that lipofuscin, we lose the ability to jettison that out of the cells as we get older, about 20, 23, 24 years old. And it begins to become an issue. It creates a stagnation and blocks the mitochondria's effectiveness, so energy production becomes less. And we begin to notice that as we get older, we have less energy. Our receptor sites on the cell membrane become blocked, and various things happen because of that, because certain hormones rely on open receptor sites, and included among those are insulin, serotonin, melatonin, those kinds of things that we need for health. And as those receptor sites become blocked, our health becomes compromised. The other things in the age pill, well, and then DNA, DNA becomes damaged by the lipofuscin, and mutations and things like that cause all kinds of problems as we get older. So it's good to get that stuff out of the cells so the cell can return to normal function, like when we were in our 20s, like Tom Maurer says. So that's a great thing, but also there's ingredients that help support not only energy production, but help support muscle, help support fat burning, help support connective tissues, help support digestion, help support the brain and nervous system, helps to promote deeper sleep. All of these things contributing to the cell functioning at a higher level, when in my case, I really needed the deeper sleep. And that's what I was getting, and more consistently, and even taking naps during the day. So at the end of about 2 weeks, I hit a point where a lot of things began to change, and my energy level was really stable through the day. And no longer was I taking that nap in the middle of the day, and no longer was I sleeping as long as I was. I was actually requiring less sleep now. So it had actually helped restore me back to where I was years ago, when I just had really good energy. I could get a lot done. I didn't need as much sleep, and I really was happy about that. So a lot of things began to unravel over the months that went by. One of those is I noticed a knee injury from college, athletic injury from college, was dramatically improving. It was getting stronger, and it was very concerning to me, that knee, my left knee, that maybe I was headed for knee replacement surgery, because it was just getting worse and worse and very weak, and it went pretty constant pain. And because it's the leg you push off of to get into the car, I noticed how weak it was, and just how bad it was. And I began to notice I could actually run again, and I hadn't been able to do that in years, and that was an amazing thing. So then something happened probably about 3 months into the age pill. Because I was getting more done, I was looking around for things to do, and the garage door had been damaged. So I took it off the hinges, and I laid it out on some sawhorses, and I glued it up, and I had the clamps all on it. And as I cinched up the clamps, the door started to buckle a bit. And when you've got wet glue and you got clamps going, and you have to work fast, so I knew I needed some weight to take care of that buckling. So I looked over, and there were some cinder blocks. Well, I quickly went over and grabbed these cinder blocks and laid, enough of them on the door to take care of the bow to keep it flat. Anyway, I was probably about 24 years old. I'm going to go back now before I end that story. When I was 24 years old, I was helping someone move a wood pile. And it was in the foothills of the Sierra Nevada out in California, and we uncovered a nest of black widow spiders. And we were carrying the wood on our shoulders and things before we uncovered that nest. And after that, it's like, whoa, Well, that night I had pain in my shoulder, and I woke up with black widow spider bite on my trapezius. And I didn't know it was black widow spider bite, but I assumed it was because we literally saw hundreds of them. And I remember my mother telling me that her father, my grandfather, almost died from a black widow spider bite. So I was kind of worried, but I was way up in the mountains, and I felt like I had the flu. And I woke up that morning, and my lymph nodes just above my collarbone, there were 3 of them that just popped up like goose eggs. And I felt like I had the flu for about 3 days. But it never got really bad, but I had the flu for 3 days. That's pretty much what it was. I was sick. And then I finally started getting better, so it's like, wow, I'm going to live. So it was okay. But then a few years ago, I put on a pair of shoes to go hiking, and was taking the dog for a hike, and I was in a hurry because the dog was all excited, and we were going, and everybody was in the car, and I grabbed my hiking boots, and I put them on, and I didn't shake them out, and I hadn't worn them for like a year. And that night, my foot hurt, and I was kind of limping around, and I thought, gosh, it feels like I sprained my ankle. I must have sprained my ankle, but I could never remember spraining my ankle. Well, the next morning, my foot was swollen really big. It looked like football. And then I started getting sick. So I called, that was a Sunday, and I called another doctor friend of mine, and he's a more internal medicine doctor. And so he met me in his office, special because we were friends, later that day on Sunday. And it had been about 24 hours. And he found a black widow spider bite on my foot, and he showed it to me with a magnifying glass, and he said, these are the distinctive marks, like a kind of fang marks. I tell you what, I was sicker than a dog, and my foot was so big I couldn't walk on it, and I was dizzy. I was so dizzy that I would throw up. And so I couldn't eat anything, and if I moved, I got dizzy, and I would dry heave if there was nothing in my stomach, and I would throw up if there was something in my stomach. I was really sick, and it lasted for the better part of a week. And my doctor friend, when I saw him, he said, anti-venom, it's too late for anti-venom because it had been 24 hours. He said, the only time anti-venom is effective for a black widow spider bite is if you get it to it immediately. And he said, it's after 24 hours, the risk that the antivenom gives you is greater than the benefit. So he didn't recommend doing it. So he gave me some proteolytic enzymes, and he actually recommended a couple of nutritionals. And one of them, interestingly, was NAD. But I was sick for the better part of a week, and really sick, way sicker than I was back when I was 24. So it gets worse, not better, those kind of bugs. Well, when I reached in and grabbed those cinder blocks, I had a little bit of a thought maybe I shouldn't do that, but I was in a hurry because the glue was drying, and so I just did it. I thought, what are the chances? Well, it was about, I don't know, a half hour or so after I did that, my thumb was itchy. I just kept itching my thumb, and I went and I looked at it. Oh, there were the characteristic fang marks of a black widow spider, just like my doctor friend showed me in the magnifying glass. And I thought, oh, no, here we go. I'm going to be sick for a week. I know it got worse the last time. If it gets even worse this time, I could die. Well, I waited for my hand to swell up like a football, like my foot did, and never swelled up. So I went to bed that night and waited to wake up the next morning and be all swollen up and sick. And never happened. And I felt just a little tinge of, not just a little off, but nothing major. It was no big deal. And the age pill, I believe, is the reason. It was allowing me to process it and get rid of the toxins. And there's that aspect of the age pill. So I could go on, but I know there's other people on the call, so I'll acquiesce. But the age pill is awesome. But I will say this. I think it works better if it's supported. And that's the great thing about Sisel is they have these great nutritionals, the Fucoidan, Eternity, Spectrum X. And I think the age pill helps the cell to do a number of things and helps to drive metabolism and that cellular function to a whole new level. But it's real important to support that function with something synergistic like fucoidan.
Fantastic. So that was the end of that testimonial. What do you think of that, Kurt? 2 fantastic testimonials today.
Yeah, thank God he's alive. Man.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, really enjoyed listening to those 2. And the first testimonial was really great too. So if you've joined us today, thanks for tuning in. I hope that inspired you. I hope that made you feel uplifted. It certainly did. It always does for me, Kurt. The first thing I think is I'm going to go into the kitchen and take some more H pill.
There you go. Well, I'll end the call by saying this. Look, if you're going to do something, build the belief in yourself first. Build the belief in what you're doing. Listen to the product call that you did testimonials that you just heard. I mean, how fantastic is that? And it's real. I mean, you're going to have results. People that you know are going to have results. And build that belief in yourself, build that belief in what you're doing, and then build your business, build your brand, because if you don't build belief in yourself, how am I going to buy into you if you don't even buy into yourself?
Yeah.
And then let's get started with Sisel. I mean, I'll tell you what, we've got a fantastic company, we got fantastic products, and we got great people. I mean, I'll tell you what, there's some great people in the company that are willing to help you do what you need to do. Katie, anything that you want to add before we jump off?
Oh no, I think we've wrapped it up for the day. So have a great weekend, everyone, and thanks for jumping on.
Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.